a sitting president. We are saying to the American president to stay away out of Venezuela, to stop fiddling in the affairs of other countries, and that those people be released immediately.
And finally, further filled, U.S. President Donald Trump has presided over a signing ceremony inaugurating what he's called his Board of Peace. Some 20 other dignitaries have signed the agreement. Britain said it would not take part as it is concerned about the possible involvement of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Speaking in Davos, Trump expressed his belief that the board will help forge what he called a glorious and everlasting peace for the Middle East and the wider world.
Today we're announcing more details regarding the Board of Peace, so important. This board has the chance to be one of the most consequential bodies ever created, and it's my enormous honor to serve as its chairman. I was very honored when they asked me to do it.
The top story at 3, breaking news. An educator has died and 2 others seriously injured after a gunman opened fire at them in Ndabankulu in the Eastern Cape. According to a local ward councillor, Mlungisi Dinwayo, who is at the scene, the perpetrator came to Ndabankulu Junior Secondary School, where he used to be an educator, and allegedly started shooting at educators who were holding a meeting before turning the firearm on himself. Headlines at 3:30 for SAFM News on the National Pulse. I'm Kolofelo Defo.
And this news bulletin is brought to you by Momentum. Momentum is part of the Momentum Group Limited, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
They say the early bird catches the worm. Great advice, unless you're the worm. Generic so-called wisdom doesn't work for everyone, so I settle for a financial plan that's one size fits some. Momentum accredited financial advisors take the time to get to really know your unique situation. Advice meets your context. Momentum, your journey to success. Momentum is part of Momentum Group Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Coming up in sports this hour, Royals ready to come up guns blazing against confident Joburg Super Kings outfit, and Djokovic closes in on 400th Grand Slam win with Australian Open sweep. More details at 3:30.
As the nation seeks answers, SAFM brings you live, uninterrupted coverage of Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Commissioner Lieutenant General Julius Mkhwanazi. You can also stay up to date with the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into criminality, political interference, and corruption in the criminal justice system. Stay informed, stay connected. Tune in live on SAFM 104 to 107 and follow the coverage across our digital platforms live on Facebook, X, and YouTube at SAFM Radio. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. The National Pulse with Ashraf Garda on SAFM. You're listening to the National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
And what moves the national pulse today? What does move the pulse of the nation? What moves the global pulse? We'll cover all of that, including later on, and hopefully chat to the Tourism Minister of South Africa is at Davos as well. That comes up later on. There's also a story of now school taxi drivers who are out to protest tomorrow after they were impounded today in Lenasia. That's another huge drama, very topical as we get into the new year, right? But key issue, of course, is the ad hoc committee. Now, the suspended Ekurhuleni Metro Police Deputy Chief, Julius Mkhwanazi, not to be confused with Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, is currently testifying before Parliament's ad hoc committee. Just to recall, Mkhwanazi testified at the Madlanga Commission close to the end of last year, denying that he personally installed blue lights on Vuzimuzi Cat Matlala's vehicles, but he admitted to approving memorandums of understanding that allowed Matlala to enjoy blue light privileges. Now, amongst the things he said today, he said, I was suspended for nothing. Talking about being suspended, or according to him, should not have happened. No, we never received the cars, in response to claims that vehicles linked to Cat Matlala were taken into the city's possession. They said also there were no blue lights that were fitted by the city or EMPD, meaning on Matlala's associated vehicles. And that means they ran a secret investigation, referring to that he said he was not properly informed about the investigation that led to his suspension. And then finally saying, under me, you work and you account. That's just some of the key points that he made today. But there's so much more because he's, if not in the dock, he's certainly a witness. And that's what we're going to do right away. So let's get to the ad hoc committee. Let me remind you, by the way, you can comment on those quotes. You can comment on anything that moves the national pulse today. And for now, as we've been doing, as we cross to the ad hoc committees, best to do it via WhatsApp voice notes because we can then bank it and play it as and when the opportunity arises. I'm Ashraf Garda. This is the National Pulse. Welcome to the show. Let's now get back to the Parliament Ad Hoc Committee.
Died, they killed him. I know that, I saw that in newspaper. I know the social media don't entertain them. But that article says that because he presented an evidence against Brigadier Mkhwanazi. I'm not called nice, criminal with all these words, Mkhwanazi. That's why he has died, because he's linked to those things. And surprisingly, I think you've got access of witness statement. Witness statement doesn't say, I instructed him to dump a person. He's saying, the person that I was talking to said, I've said he must dump. A person who said that I've instructed him, it's Revo's speech when he was testifying. You see, you can have access of that and read this paragraph 25, because I wanted that, because I don't know witness D. And he even said in his statement that he doesn't know me. He even calls me with a junior rank. And I didn't deny that I went there. I woke up, I went there. You see, because there's a success. They are saying there are goods that have been recovered. But as I've said it in Madlang, when I was there was no success. And you could see that you can't have an operation that started at 8 o'clock at night, having more than 30 officers, 16, 17, 19 vehicles of all security agencies, police, security companies, EMPD. Then you want me to come and take charge. And when I said, where's the success? A person says his own things. But let me say it now, I've said it to Matlang. I don't know that person. And that person in his statement, he has said it that I've never spoken to that person. I don't know. Or when I'm saying that person, at Matlang, I mustn't say that person. I don't know witness D. And witness D doesn't know me. I started to know witness D after his murder, you see, but I don't know him physically. I never saw him. And now I'm able to receive some affidavits, some photos of the people that he killed in illegal mining when they were closing illegal. Even there, he's painting that there's a minister who instructed him to kill or to close that mine, that illegal mine. I don't think security companies, the Department of Minerals, they give powers to close mines, you see. But that's what he did, he confirmed. He was talking to journalists, telling them that, no, there's a minister, I want to try, running away from the responsibility. Again, there's a photo here of a plastic. Tomorrow I'm going to bring a memory stick so that I give it to you, where he's torturing a mother who's 59-year-old, putting plastic, the same thing that he said they did in that 2021 or 2022 thing. But secondly, I must mention that my family, my kids, and I, this thing has disturbed them, you see. And it is worrying now as I'm here, Chair. My attorney was shot at poison, the one that was assisting me at Matlang and other things, day before. It gives me worries now. I can't even move out of the house because I'm being seen as the killer police. Where go I kill people? I don't know for what. You see, because I was not even part of that. And they confirmed that they started the operation as the security companies, that one of Witness D. There were no police, but they called people, you see, later to come and do the whatever that they did. That I don't know, you see. And I never issued an instruction. I don't know that person, he doesn't know me. And what I like that, in his statement before he died, he has mentioned that it's just that we're still starting. I can't discuss it because it's under investigations and other things, you see. But the statement stated clearly. And when I checked the the statement of the witness that is coming from the department, the same deputy chief of police, he's the one that I instructed, but he was not there. But witness is very clear in his statement. It's what, paragraph 25, it's very clear. You'll be charged by social media, you'll be charged, but it's worrying when people are dying like this and you are quiet, there's nothing that is happening. You see, because a lot of people that are dying.
Thank you.
People died in that crime. People are dying in illegal mines. You see, now I've got a statement, affidavit, of a white person who's complaining. It has been submitted that there's been tortured. Plastic was put by this witness. He wanted some information and.
Commissioner Mkhwanazi, I suspect it's a sensitive issue because it must be under investigation, and we can't call the person to come and give their version. I think you wanted to speak to it and say just not necessarily your whole version because it's under investigation, but I think you wanted to mention it. So I suspect, Chair, we have come to the end of leading evidence, and we hand over back to you.
Can we give Advocate Mkhize a round of Malibongwe.
Ucwabeka Zihlandla wena wasembo.
Malibongwe.
Bela Khabazela Mavovo.
Yeah, can you say it again? Can you say it again, Honorable?
Ucwabeka Zihlandla uyena wasembo kubhela umavovo. Khabazela.
Thank you so much.
I'm not sure if this is still about the leading of evidence.
This is
the manner in which Nomvalo is singing. I'm not sure if it's still about the leading of evidence.
This is the kind of South Africa we desire to have. The South Africa we have always wanted, where an African woman can be praised by men, and not always women praising men. Can you say it again, Honorable Noval?
Amasi. No, this guy from the Eastern Cape is conservative. Chair.
Say it.
Ukhabazela kuphela kamavovo. Ucwabeka Zihlandla wena wasembo. Honorable Nqola is jealous. He's being jealous.
Thank you so much.
Amasi akhanya eswini.
Thank you so much.
Ngiyayiqedelela.
Yeah. You know where we come from in our communities. Every time the item of a family praise comes, a woman will be called. But today is us here praising woman, the South Africa we always wanted to see. Thank you so much, Advocate Mkhize. Our witness, Commissioner Mkhwanazi, thank you so much. Honorable members, we have come to the end of the presentation of evidence by our witness, and I'm taking the time now is almost 20 minutes after 15 hours. I'm allocating 15 minutes to alternate members and 30 minutes to full-time members. I want us to start now. Can I get an indication from Honorable Sangoni, who is starting from the African National Congress?
Thank you very much, Chair. Congratulations again, Advocate Mkhize, the South Africa that the ANC policies have built. From the ANC, Chair, we will be starting with Honorable Nduli, the Chief Whip, followed by myself, and then we will then use the rotation later on for Honorable Sokangile and Honorable Ngola. Thank you very much.
Okay, from the MKP, who is speaking?
From the MKP, Chair, we're not changing anything. We're following the usual order.
Okay.
Speak in one voice, Chair.
Honorable Skosana.
Now, bese ngibuza nje Chair ngoba masiye lunchini uthi nje kuzoqala honorable so khanyile uze sekutshintshe kuphi manje Chair?
Puma. You enter where? Puma.
Do you want to respond to that, Honorable Sokanyile?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I was telling the honourable member that he must leave the ANC things to ANC and deal with the MKP things.
He must keep his Europe.
Yeah,
and
to
you
himself.
keep your Zimbabwe.
No, he must keep his Zimbabwe, then we keep our Europe.
Chair, it's you who said so when we went for lunch. It's not me.
The leader,
so we are waiting for you to tell us that we have changed.
The leader of the ANC delegation in this committee is
but Chair, it's difficult to leave
Honorable
ANC.
Sangoni.
Even witnesses are members of ANC. Angithi Mkhwanazi.
Comrades, I know you still think you're members of the
and,
ANC. Just come back.
Honorable
Just come back or leave the ANC things.
Has taught us to speak in one voice as parties in this committee. Honorable members, the witness has requested a convenience break. So we are going to resume at 3:30. May you all stand up and leave the chambers.
Right, so you heard that's a 10-minute break, which means we need to take a break. Well, from the ad hoc committee, but it doesn't mean we take a break from you. It means we talk to you. So what do you want to get off your chest? Donald Trump yesterday, very much the man in the headlines. We just want a small piece of that island, is what he said. Some of the great quotes that have emerged in the last 24 hours from him, as well as the Canadian PM before that, right? Yeah. All right. In terms of you, big moments today that you heard on the ad hoc committee. What was that? But also you can comment. You've heard on the news another shooting sort of took place. And then that impounding of vehicles or taxis, school-linked taxis in Lenasia, about, I think, 30 or so, maybe even more. As a result of that, the school taxi grouping scholar transport vehicles, in fact, I said 30, about 60. They're so angry, they are calling a strike tomorrow. So how do those kids get to school tomorrow? Yo, man, new year, but the drama is in full swing. And talking about transport, here's a comment.
Good afternoon, Ashraf. Ashraf, as the School Transporter Association in Gauteng, they are going to protest tomorrow. They are protesting to defend themselves to overloaded the children, or they need the permit from government, or they need a subsidy from the government. I think when you conducted the chairman of the school transport in Joburg, he must clarify. He or she must clarify. Thank you.
A point well made. Look, what are they protesting about? On the other hand, from the vehicles being impounded, why were they actually impounded?
Good afternoon, Ashraf. Flores from the beautiful Winelands. Ashraf, Donald Trump, when he comes to pass, I wish they can just take his brain and examine it and see what this man was all about. He is very eccentric. This guy thinks he's a law unto his own. And if we as citizens of this beautiful earth, if we don't start taking steps, then Donald Trump is going to ruin this whole earth. And I'm very disappointed in all these leaders who all of a sudden wants to play buddy-buddy with him just to get their tariffs decrease. That guy, no. He needs to be looked at once he comes to pass. Have a Good, so bye-bye.
Thank you. Well, I'll tell you what, whatever South Africa's position regarding, for example, Israel and the ICJ, and then South Africa's position regarding Afrikaners, and we know Donald Trump's stance against that, increasingly so those that have called for Ramaphosa and company to sort of mellow down and call it suck up to Donald Trump are now being seen just how incredibly erratic he is, because he is erratic. How do you deal with this person? Seriously.
Ashraf, good afternoon. I just want to specifically have a comment with regards to Julius Mkhwanazi. Ashraf, I've been following this ad hoc committee thing since 11 or whatever on my smart TV, obviously, on the YouTube platform. But listen, Ashraf, at the end of the day, this individual, we should notice that this individual is a character. In real life, he's a character. This man doesn't have a script for a movie, but he is portraying a character. Like, he's not even pretending to be weird. He's weird in various ways, but he's a character. That's just my opinion. Daniel here in Bryanston.
Okay, he's a character. I hear that character.
Good afternoon, Ashraf, and FM listeners. Ashraf, yes, we admit there is a crisis with immigration and the illegal foreign nationals, whatever people might say it. But people of South Africa must open their eyes and be clever. These vigilante groups, who are they fighting for? Because Ashraf, to be honest, in South Africa, Ashraf, if you want to be in mainstream politics, you must talk about foreign nationals. That is the easiest way to put you into mainstream politics of South Africa. People of South Africa must open their eyes. Ask all those who are fighting for them where their kids are they learning. Thanks. Anonymous, Johannesburg.
Interesting. It has to be on the agenda, but does that mean you must talk for foreign nationals or against it? Which one gets you, more sentiments, more coverage, more votes, more followers? I wonder.
Good afternoon, Ashraf. Yeah, with this tax protest, this is arrogant. This is arrogant. This is as a result of us losing our beloved children in the crash, which was caused by the unroadworthy vehicle with an expired disc. So they are trying. What message are they sending to the grieving families? What message are they really sending to the nation? So they are saying they don't care. All they think is about money. No, man. This is out of this world. Thank you so much, Anonymous Captain.
Thanks for that, Anonymous. And there's more. Here's another.
Good afternoon, Ashraf, and SA listeners. Anonymous. What you are hearing at the commission with Mkhwanazi, I do not want to know his position. We are clearly dealing with a gang leader here, a criminal. And then I support Trump's movement with Venezuela with caution.
Okay, got that. Right, and there's another about Mkhwanazi.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ashraf, and your producer and all the listeners of SAFM. Mr. Ashraf, I don't know what's going on about. Maybe you as a journalist, you can just brief us. What happened about that, what you call that guy, Julius Mkhwanazi? Why is drinking a lot of water, that guy? When he speak, so, like you see, sometimes you end up laughing, man, when you watch that guy. I don't know why. What's going on? Maybe they have some sickness or what? Why is drinking too much water, that guy? Hey, that is my concern.
Oh, that's your biggest concern. Listen, he was drinking lots of water before, remember that? At the Madlanga Commission, and we had the same sort of complaints. Maybe it's just that his tongue gets dry very, very quickly. I mean, as simple as that. Some people like me can go without it for a while. Some people like him can't survive 5 minutes without water. Unless the water's sponsored, then it's like very, then it's brand presence that's there. Placement. Brand placement, you know that, right? Listen, talking about brand placement, I have to tell you this quickly. From Donald Trump, some of the quotes from yesterday at Davos. When America booms, the entire world booms. You all follow us down and you follow us up. And then saying, I love Europe and I want to see Europe go good, but it's not heading in the right direction. And then saying, I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force. Talking about the US would not use military force to acquire Greenland, but wants negotiations. And then this is the key one about Greenland, saying this enormous unsecured island, that's our territory. 3:30, here's the news headlines.
Thanks, Ashraf. Good afternoon. I'm Kulufelo Tefo. A scholar transport bus carrying learners from Chrome Mine Primary School was involved in a head-on collision with a light delivery vehicle today between Northam and Tabazimbi in Limpopo. No serious injuries were reported and learners were taken to Dumela Mine Hospital as a precaution. An educator has died and 2 others seriously injured after a gun-wielding man opened fire at them in Ndabankulu in the Eastern Cape. And further field police and wildlife rangers in Pakistan have seized 11 lions illegally kept in Lahore, having launched a search when one escaped from a house and attacked an 11-year-old girl. I'll have details on this and other stories at 4.
SAFM, guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting off in Gauteng, a stationary vehicle on the N1 northbound at New Road and a stationary vehicle on the M1 southbound after Buccleuch interchange. There's a crash in KZN on the N3 northbound after Harry Gwala Road. The left lane is closed and a stationary vehicle on the N2 southbound after Sabaya Drive. And in Cape Town on the N2 inbound, a crash reported at Hospital Bend. With your traffic update, I'm Irma G.
This is SAFM Sports with Tuming Khapele.
Right, to me, there's an important cricket playoff tonight, right?
SA20 to be exact. A very good afternoon to you, Ashraf, and our listeners. Well, Paul Royals are sweating over the fitness of David Miller. This is ahead of their playoffs game against the Joburg Super Kings tonight. Miller picked up a groin injury while fielding during the first innings of Monday's final round-robin match, and all-rounder Dan Lawrence will step in as captain. That's if it's only needed, but they'll definitely be looking forward to having Miller on the field in their all-important game today. Meanwhile, Deval Brevis smashed 75 of 38 balls to help the Pretoria Capitals into the SA20 final with a 7-wicket win over Sunrisers Eastern Cape. Brevis says that he was simply glad to seal the victory and head straight into Saturday's decider at Newlands, while the Sunrisers Eastern Cape will get a second chance in the qualifier against the winner of today between JSK and Paul Royals.
Yeah, firstly to start, it's very important for me. I give it all to God. He blessed me with a talent to do this, and it was very special to be able to be there out there for the boys. Finish it obviously with Shafane, but Bryce played such a key role as well with bowling and the batting. But it was really nice to know that we're going straight into the finals. We've got some time to recover and to prepare. But yeah, very proud of the boys, and it was a team effort. We all fight it out there, and it was just very enjoyable to be out there and walking off the field with everyone, well, with Shafane.
Moving on to football. Football fans have voiced serious frustrations at FNB Stadium on Tuesday night after problems with the new My Ticket system, which slowed entry before the Kaizer Chiefs and Golden Arrows match. Thousands of fans were still queued outside just minutes before kickoff because scanners were failing to read valid digital tickets, with some people saying that only one of several online tickets they bought would work. Stadium Management South Africa says that the My Ticket system, also being introduced at Orlando Stadium, is meant to improve security and prevent ticket fraud, but fans are actually calling for urgent fixes. And I actually saw some of these clips on social media, Ashraf. The fans saying that if this system is not fixed, there's gonna be a stampede one way or the other. And I'd actually love to hear if any of our listeners actually went to that match on Tuesday and how they found it for them. But when you see some of the clips on Twitter, it looked like a mess. One of the guys was saying he ordered 4 tickets online and only 1 ticket he was able to scan.
And they're still allowed 4 people in or not?
No.
So the other 3 were out.
The other 3 are out. They were considered fraud.
Okay.
But he says he bought them online.
Sure.
So, yeah, they really need to see how this one is going to work out. Elsewhere, Liverpool have become the Premier League's top earning club for the first time. This is according to Deloitte. The Reds generated 836 million euros, which is around 15.2 billion rand last season, overtaking Manchester United, who dropped their lowest ever positioning in the rankings. Real Madrid again topped the global list with 1.2 billion euros, which is around 1.1 billion pounds, followed by Barcelona, Bayern Munich, PSG, and Liverpool sitting 5th overall. Manchester City fell from 2nd to 6th with 15.1 billion rand, and United slipped to 8th, and they made around 14.4 billion rand.
So, in the past, Man United would say 3 things. We're the best club in England, and they would also say we're the best club in Europe, and we the most famous club in the world, and we're the richest club in the world.
Yeah.
Now they can't even say we're the best club
Neither.
in England. They can't. They
Neither.
can debate the most famous, maybe not, but they can't even say we're the richest any longer. Their rich list mirrors their league position.
They're down to
things
8th.
are going bad.
Down to 8th on the list. Arsenal and Tottenham and Chelsea also feature in that top 10, with Aston Villa, Newcastle and West Ham completing England's representation in the top 8. In terms of tennis, Novak Djokovic powered into the 3rd round of the Australian Open with a straight sets win over Francesco Maestrelli. The 24-time Grand Slam champion claimed a 6-3, 6-2 and 6-2, marking his 399th major singles victory, leaving him 1 away from becoming the first ever player to reach 400. The 38-year-old, remember, is chasing an 11th Australian Open crown and a record 25th major title overall. Anything's off with cycling. Jay Vine claimed stage 2 of the Tour Down Under, finishing ahead of the UAE Emirates XRG teammate and defending champion Jonathan Narvaez. The 2023 champion won the stage in 3 hours 36.42 seconds. Vine now leads the overall standings by 6 seconds over Narvaez, while Swiss champion Muro Schmidt is further 1.5 minutes back in 3rd. Tomorrow it's stage 3 and it covers 140.8 kilometers. On that note, it's a wrap from my side for now. I'll have more in the next hour.
Perfect. In fact, here's a question. Is there an equivalent, like, rich list for South African football? And is there an equivalent rich list for African football? So at the moment we're guessing, but is there an official rich list?
I think from the top of my head, I've seen one.
Okay, well, please dig it up because we can talk about it.
I don't love going to school. I don't love sitting in a classroom with 50 other children. But I do love learning. Yakuthanda ukufunda isiXhosa as a language. I do love getting good grades. I do love UCT Online High School because I do love my future. Apply online before the 26th of January.
With the ever-changing financial landscape, it can be difficult to make sense of all the moves at times. Join me, Jimmy Moyaha, on the SAFM Market Update with MoneyWeb, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 to 7 p.m, as we break down the key market trends, top financial stories, and smart investment insights, all in one place. It's everything you need to stay financially informed and ahead of the curve.
X at SAFM Radio and at Ashraf Garda.
Right, it's been an eventful day as expected at Parliament's ad hoc committee, and we don't want to miss a beat. Now, you can message, and many people are doing that. Drop us a voice note or text message so we can bank it and play it as soon as we get breaks. We will do just that. Right, what number? You have saved it, haven't you? 0614 104 107. 0614 104 107. This is the National Pulse. Let's then cross right back to Parliament's ad hoc committee.
Because when I think I must mention, one of my juniors was checking, said, no, it's only the issue of, I think he stole something in the shop, something like shoplifting, something. It was only that. And long time ago, and it was clear it's no longer in the system. It was that only, you see. I think it was, one must say, it was an oversight. After looking everything and think, this is a normal man, clinic. It was an oversight on my side. Okay. I must take that responsibility.
Okay,
Chair.
no,
That
I'm
ownership.
glad. I'm glad you are conceding to that, because I was going to be very worried that as somebody that has got some form of a security training, even with the benefit of an hindsight, you would not see that it was a responsibility you had to do that kind of a checkout. The second question, if not the third question I had, if you remember on the page 56, the letter that the advocate was taking you through, which was written by, or is co-signed by Advocate Zulu, as well as the other person, I think, Mkhwanazi, if I'm not mistaken, that letter. You were saying when you were talking to the advocate that fortunately the letter exonerates you in a sense. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing what you're saying, but it sets you free from allegations that were leveled against you. And I think I almost heard you saying, luckily I had nothing to do to influence the writing of that letter. I only got to know about it later, if I heard you very well. But in the letter, the authors are saying, when they've done an internal verification with some of the internal staff members, internal staff, that's what they're saying in paragraph 2. It says, I've since considered this matter. The IPD investigation officer states that since the suspect did not have powers to conclude any agreement on behalf of the city of Ekurhuleni, his actions amounted to fraud and corruption. Then the second paragraph says, I have consulted with internal staff and I'm advised that based on the current evidence, it will be difficult to prove fraud and corruption. But who are the internal staff that may have been consulted with, by the two authors of the letter or those who signed the letter? And why, when they were doing a consultation internally on a matter in which you are implicated and you are one of their juniors, you were excluded in the internal consultation? I mean, how should we understand that to have been the situation, given the fact that your own evidence before us is that you were not aware of this letter, you just saw it 2 years later or whatever, when it was already out? Yeah, you can continue.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. It's difficult for me to answer that because I'm not the author, and by the time I got this letter, I was already on a special leave. And after that, I was on leave. And our leave says that you can't communicate with anyone. As you see the letter, the suspension letter. You see, they don't want to interfere. You see, because I still want to engage. You see, because the internal processes that have started, I know. You see, I was called for the first disciplinary hearing. You see, and it's part of that.
Okay.
You see, I'm still going to engage on that share. Because I'm worried, it worries me again, that it involves me. I'm the employee of the city. I'm still there, part of the payroll and everything. Anything happens, I must be called at any time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
No, thanks. And then in your evidence earlier on, you were saying that it's not written down, it's what you were saying as you were responding to questions. One of the things that you said was that each and every time when the the South African Police Service is meant to assist the metro, you have to do a payment of those services. And then you said, but EMPD gives us some assistance at some point with no charge. What kind of assistance is those ones that are given by EMPD to the police, but you don't charge them? That's question number one. Question number two, do you have any suggestion on how this relationship can be regulated? Now, I mean in a context of legislation, to ensure that it's mutually beneficial. Nobody feels exploited by the other. That's between the EMPD and the South African Police Service.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the city has donated the land at Kwatema for a police station. The police station that is at Kwatema is situated City of Ikuren land. You see, we are part of that Estate Department to influence and make sure, especially when I was acting HOD, to make sure that there's a crisis in Guatemala, there's no police that is effective and efficient. It's because of infrastructure. And they're saying they can't develop infrastructure because the land belongs to the city. Then the city took that decision out of our influence, out of our engagement, that we need that police station, we need SAPS to be there. It could have cost SAPS a lot of money, or the relevant department, for them to buy that land, you see. But that's not, I think even at Ituatwa, it's the same challenges that we have, you see. But when you go to SAPS for training, just training, in fact, we are appointed under SAPS Act. They should be providing that. We're we are part of the security agencies that work with SAPS. You see, in terms of training, because as I've said earlier on, that my worry is that when people are not trained together, when they have to, or when they must respond to crime situation or to crime scenes, you see, if we don't understand, you don't know the training and you don't know the capacity of the people, it may end up police versus police, or police are shooting at each other. But if you know that the other multi-agencies are trained too, you see, and it's worse with us, we are police. We're implementing the act on a daily basis. But in terms of training, they don't want. You see, we met the National Commission, and they said the processes, they are charging us. And as we are saying, Chair, our municipalities are facing challenges. We see these things on a daily basis. I was acting. You will see, for example, I'm making an example. I don't want people to, but I'm making an example. That development of infrastructure, of housing, especially in the southern part of Ekurhuleni. And those people that are there are people that depends. It's RDP houses. They depend on state in terms of grants, in terms of anything. And the services must be provided, plus minus 16,000 units. It's how many families. And we definitely saw that the city must provide services there. Policing must be there. You don't expect anything because they depend on, and they, in fact, they are there. They are South Africans. The Constitution says we must provide services. And when you check in terms of the geographical area, the informal settlements now in the city of Ekurhuleni, I've said it, because of illegal mining, people want to open other things. You see, the power, the capacity, and the financial status of the city becomes a challenge. And we depend, us as police, we don't get grants from nationally. We don't get grants. Policing doesn't get grants from nationally. Policing doesn't get EMP, or let me say Metro Police, they don't get grants from national treasurer. They don't get grants from the province. They depend on these revenue people that are paying services, especially grannies that are doing that with their 300, 400, we are surviving because of them, you see. And we expected, we request the parliament to intervene in terms of training. So you can't charge policing, you see. And one of the things I've just said, in Madlanga, the issue of fingerprints came in a lot, you see, to take police officers to SAPs and say, can you do fingerprints so that we check our officers? They charge you for a person for that. And it's a service that the police should provide to other and help one another. Yes, because end of the day, we are taking instructions from the National Commissioner. You can't see our National Commissioner and charge us, but other kids, you don't charge them, but others we charge. Thank you.
Okay, my last two questions. The one is about, I just need clarity on this matter, because as I was following your interaction with Advocate Mkhwanazi, I felt there was some point where I was left behind. Your contention is that the vehicles never arrived under the auspices, or they were never handed over to the EMPD. Now, I want to underline that in terms of your own knowledge, they were never handed over. But do you know if they were handed over to the city? Because in our interaction with Mr. Matlala, he confirmed that the vehicles went and came back after some time, 3 months or 6 months, I can't quite remember well. Now, I understand how you are explaining the process internally in Ekurhuleni, that the division or the unit that is responsible for transport is the one that would be the recipient of a donation or new vehicles, and then dispatch them to various units for their own usage. My question is, assuming that your version is accurate, that they were never with EMPD, but do you know if they were ever delivered into the municipality after the completion of the registration process, or even before it was completed, the registration process?
Chair, thank you, Chair. I engaged Christine, the prox. He said he never received them. You see.
So we can safely conclude that if in our records, Mr. Matlala had said that the cars were with Ekuruleni and brought back to him after whatever time, that would not be accurate.
I will say so, Chair, or else we engage Chris so that he makes an affidavit to confirm
to that effect.
Because it's a telephone call. Remember, I'm not there physically.
Yeah, no, I get your point.
And I don't want to say when we are convincing, you see.
Okay.
But it's very important. But yeah, I'm saying we never received them as CMPT.
All right. Do you know Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi?
Yes, Chair.
Are you related?
No.
You've never met anywhere as Mkhwanazis before this?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, you've met somewhere as Mkhwanazis or as gentlemen in the restaurant or in. How do you know him? That's what I wanted to check.
At work.
At work.
I met, yes.
Okay.
Through the national conferences, policing. But before that, I met him again. It was 2020. But even if we meet, we talk.
Okay.
There's this Mkhwanazi thing, we talk. Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Chair. I'm done. Thank you.
Chief Whip, thank you so much. Honorable Sangon, is now 10 minutes to 16 hours. Yeah, time ends at 4:20.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good afternoon again, Mr. Mkhwanazi. Can you explain to me, because maybe I'm missing it. So if the blue lights were never fitted, how do we sit here and discuss blue lights and everybody knows Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi speaking about blue lights? What are we missing?
Thank you, Chair. I will start with the letter or the WhatsApp that I got. It's not a letter, dated 27 April. No, it was a public holiday. 27 April is a Freedom Day. I got the WhatsApp message, say, Chief, where are you? I'm saying no, it was Sunday after the 27th April. I'm at the funeral, Saturday. I'm at the funeral. Are you aware that the people that we suspended, it was April, they are somewhere in KZN discussing about getting support? I think I've got that WhatsApp somewhere. I can leave that document, you see. Then I said, no, I will call you after the funeral. After the funeral, I called. They said, no, the Chief of Police and Deputy Chief Gwabe, they are mobilizing support against you in KZN. Both of them, they were suspended for sexual harassment. And they were not suspended by me. Or Gwabe, I can say, because I was acting Chief of Police. But the Chief of Police reports to the city manager, not to me. You see, it was before July, you see. And the issue of blue light, it comes from the office of the Chief of Police, Isaac Mapia. No, I can't rely in this commission. We don't see eye to eye. I always say, I've said it many times in this house, that I was not part of his succession plan. And one of the things that it's coming across me, that I'm one of those who are frustrated in terms of resources in the city. Not by the city. Because now I happen to sit where there are discussions of budget, where you fight for money as different department. And they were saying to me, but we give you money for resources, you don't spend it. It always comes back. Or money is allocated to other things that are not, I said, yes, they're not our priority.
Come back, Commissioner. So who made up this thing of blue lights, and to the best of your knowledge, how did it get to even General Mkhwanazi that he would make those allegations?
The source said to me, both of them in April, they went to KZN. I think it's them, the deputy chief and the chief, that are suspended, that they felt that I'm getting power. They went to KZN. The blue light story started 2021 within EMPT. As I've said, I was called Blue Light Blesser. And I've said, Can you show me those blue lights? I never saw those blue lights. You see, it was character assassination to deal with me, and they succeeded. It went everywhere. Okay. You see, that's why I even said, that's why I even said, if they stop those vehicles, can they show me a case number or a photo or anything, an OP entry? There's a procedure when you stop those cars, you see, or else the pound form and the OP entry where you pounded the vehicle if you don't want to arrest, because you can use your own discretion, but nothing till today. It was a character assassination from internally, and remember, those people that I thought that my colleague, you see, they supported 100%. I will tell you why. You see, because the junior, who is now a media officer, he was appointed to act in a senior position, which is 4 levels higher than me. We were made as directors to report to a superintendent. I refused, and I challenged it through the union. I won it. Then she was not awarded. I think it's bitterness and anger. You see, from that team, that this one is not one of our own. It's not part. I don't know how, because I belong to the seat.
I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you. Thank you, Mr. Mkhwanazi. Maybe just to say that if indeed you did fit blue lights, at some point we are going to see those blue lights. So the second thing I wanted to ask you, you got an offer for the position Deputy Municipal Commissioner Operations, which was on the 1st of December 2023. And on that offer letter, you're given a total remuneration package of 1.6 million. You then, in your acceptance, I'm sure you're familiar with these documents, I don't need to refer, you ask for you ask that your salary package be increased to 1.8 million instead of the total of 1.6. Was that increase effected?
Thank you. In fact, there are 2 offers. Even on that one, I was not happy. The one that I wanted initially, it's 2.1 or 2.2, because I looked at the packages that I had as a director. You see, currently, when you compare me with my directors, they earn far more than I. Those that I'm leading. Because when you are from inside taking over.
Sorry, Mr. Mkhwanazi.
It was offered.
Was it effected?
Yes.
What process was followed to effect that salary?
You apply through your HODHR, through finance. They do their own processes, do calculations and everything.
So if we were to ask for those documents, we would see them. It was not just you writing by hand asking for 1.8 and the city manager agrees to it.
No.
Those documents are there.
No. But okay. It's them. It's not, I don't become part of that. Mine becomes this, because you don't take an offer if they didn't fulfill this.
Okay. Now, when you were speaking to Mr. Van Wyk and agreeing to everything that you were agreeing to, what process were you following there? So when you said yes, he could test, the bloods and the drunken driving issues, what process, and please refer me to the Municipal Finance Management Act, what process were you following there?
Let me correct it. It was not done. You see, he made a proposal, but it was not approved. Then there's nothing that happened.
But then when you were setting up meetings and they were going to present, what process were you following there?
Let him go and present. Maybe the top management will agree, then will implement it. Because his plan was involving other departments, not only EMPT. You see, and Municipal Financial Act, or Financial Act, yes. You see, it must cover all the people, all the HOTs, all relevant departments, all the stakeholders should be approved, and the process must be implemented. It must via again through the city manager, because he's having a final weight. But it didn't even take place.
You like referring to process, Mr. Mkhwanazi, in your affidavit, but these things are regulated in the public sector. So when a service provider comes off the street and say, I can do these wonderful things for you, then you bring together the top brass of the municipality to listen to this. What process are you using for that? Because this is arguably somebody who may either at some point have to be paid, not paid. So how did you do that?
Thank you, Madam. No, because he said there are no financial implications. You see, that's when I took it. Said no, there are no financial implications, and he's the one who's committing himself. You see, let him go and do that. You see, there's no there's no processes that are followed. I said, go and present, maybe something will come out of that, you see, but the state won't be affected, you see.
Mr. Mkhwanazi, you've been a senior manager for a while now, haven't you?
Yes.
So do you think it's possible that somebody says, I'm going to do all of these things, test people for free, and there's no cost to the state? Why would he do that, in your opinion?
I think it was a publicity part of it, marketing part of it. Because even now, people are working with the state and everything. They will request for successes and everything. Then when they go and apply to other business people, they will tell, no, on such a date, we work with this institution, work with EMPT. These are the successes. I think it was an advertisement and the publicity part of it, especially when we covered the whole lane in scenes and everything. That thing came into my mind. I don't want to lie to you. And I even asked, said, no, it's a question of advertisement, publicity part of it. Because that's how these companies are doing.
Mr. Matlala did say to us.
Okay, that repartee is fascinating, but we have to leave it for the moment. We will be right back. That's all I can tell you at the ad hoc committee. But for now, it's 4 o'clock. It's the news with Kolofelo Tefu.
Thanks, Ashraf. Top stories. The hour: shooter at a school in the Eastern Cape declared dead, and police in Pakistan seize illegally kept lions. Good afternoon. Eastern Cape Police have confirmed that the alleged shooter at a school in Ndabankulu has been declared dead at the scene. This as they are investigating a fatal shooting of a teacher that occurred earlier today at Ndabankulu Primary School, where 2 other teachers were also injured in the incident. Police spokesperson Nobuntu Gantana says reports indicate that a former teacher at the school, who was out on bail for sexual assault charges involving learners, forcibly gained entry to the premises by cutting through the perimeter fence. Gantana added he allegedly shot at other teachers before turning the gun on himself.
The suspect proceeded directly to the school kitchen, where he opened fire on 3 educators. Following this, the suspect shot and killed himself. 1 educator was declared deceased at the scene. 2 other educators sustained injuries and are currently receiving medical treatment. The suspect was also declared deceased at the scene. A full investigation into the circumstances of the attack is underway, including the suspect's breach of bail conditions. The scene has been cordoned off for processing by forensic experts.
A scholar transport bus carrying learners from Chrome Mine Primary School was involved in a head-on collision with a light delivery vehicle today between Northam and Tabazimbi in Limpopo. Provincial Education Department spokesperson Mike Maringa says no serious injuries were reported and learners were taken to Dumela Mine Hospital as a precaution. Maringa cautioned scholar transport operators to exercise caution and to prioritize the safety of learners at all times.
MEC Mabunguli Rule Ramakanya is calling on all scholar transport operators to be more vigilant and extra cautious when transporting learners to the school. The MEC is relieved that none of the learners were seriously injured in the accident that was recorded this morning. The Department of Education will be sending psychosocial support to assist the learners who suffered the trauma from the accident.
The Northwest University says it has received close to 500,000 applications but will only admit 11,800 first-year students for the 2026 academic year. The university says it is unable to accept more applications due to limited space. In 2023, Northwest was ranked the 3rd largest university in South Africa based on the total headcount of 55,096 students enrolled in that year. Oscar Musiane is the university's spokesperson.
This year we received around 420,000 applicants and our target was 11,800 for 3 campuses. So this thing is a matter that is affecting South Africa as a whole. I was checking statistics. It's about 900,000 students that passed for 2025, and all universities combined, they can only cater for 200,000. The issue is capacity.
The Higher Education Department is responsible for approving enrollment targets. However, education expert Professor Opalebilwane says capacity limitations have revealed serious problems in higher education.
The Department of Higher Education and Training in itself has got to
be proactive and look at the stats and make projections and look and decide on how these things are going to be solved. By way of saying, there's need for building more universities. If more universities, technical or TVET colleges could be built, colleges could be built, and any other institutions which could provide and solve this problem, all the better will it be for the South Africans.
The poet, singer and actor Mbuso Khoza says the Battle of Isandlwana, which took place on this day in 1879 near Ngutu, needs to be an eye-opener to the youth and the people of KwaZulu-Natal. Khoza is among the dignitaries who are part of the commemoration of the Battle of Isandlwana. The event is attended by Amabutu, as Amazulu regiments are known, and various dignitaries from different areas. Khoza says the Anglo-Zulu War had a devastating effect on the Zulu nation.
It means an ascribing of a new value to culture and to making sure that younger kids will know what happened on this mountain called Isandlwana and what we lost. Culture, language, we lost a bit of who we are, and now even our cultures, this is what we lost.
And finally, further field police and wildlife rangers in Pakistan have seized 11 lions illegally kept in Lahore, having launched a search when one escaped from a house and attacked an 11-year-old girl. The BBC's Anbarasan Ethirajan has the details.
After the attack on the girl, a tip-off led police to search an embroidery factory in Lahore. On the first floor, they found all the animals in cages, 3 of them cubs. The officers arrested 2 people suspected of keeping big cats without a license. They are thought to be involved in the illegal trade of wild animals. The captured lions have been sent to Lahore Safari Park.
The top story at 4, Eastern Cape Police have confirmed that the alleged shooter at a school in Ndabankulu has been declared dead at the scene. Headlines at 4:30 for SAFM News. I'm Kulufelo.
In sports this hour, Lions lean on Springbok power for URC clash with Ospreys. Tinkler backs Piri to rediscover best form at Kukune, and McLaren to delay Barcelona test debut as 2026 car development continues. More details at 4:30.
SAFM, guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting off in Gauteng, the M1 southbound in central Johannesburg, slow moving towards Crown Interchange, and the N3 northbound in Bedfordview, slow moving on the link to the N12 east at Gilolis Interchange. In KZN, there's a stationary vehicle on the N3 northbound after Chatterton Road and a crash on the N3 northbound after Harry Gwala Road. In Cape Town, the N2 outbound, slow moving towards Bunga Avenue, and the N1 outbound, slow moving on Plattekloof Hill. With your traffic update, I'm Irma G.
Stay safe on the roads. SAFM is with you. The National Pulse with Ashraf Garda on SAFM. You're listening to the National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
Drop us a comment if you have any thoughts on the ad hoc committee, on the World Economic Forum, on other issues, on the constant stories of of accidents regarding scholars or a teacher being shot and so on and so on. Feel free to do that by WhatsApp 0614 104 107. Right, still to come, talking about the World Economic Forum. We'll chat to the Minister Patricia de Lille later on about 5:20 about just her point. Tourism policy is economic policy. There's also a conversation we'll have around UNICEF and their what they call International Day of Education. So looking forward to that conversation. And you heard earlier on about the impounding of vehicles in Lenasia. This is linked to scholar transport, and over 60 impounded. And there's been a response from the different umbrella bodies that are involved in that, and they want to protest tomorrow. We'll find out more about that around 20 to 5 it is. But for now, let's get back to Parliament's ad hoc committee.
And devoid of ideas on how to gain traction and electorate that is increasingly rejecting them. And the city where the multi-party coalition just developed a highly successful state of the city yesterday, during which has not single protest took place. Yes.
When I read this, your reason for bringing in Mr. Matlala was to protect the state of the city address, and your explanation for why you had to bring in Ms. Matlala is because Alderman Tanya Campbell said the ANC is going to attack the state of the nation, or state of the city address. You give us this document where she says the ANC is frustrated, and yesterday we delivered a very successful state of the city address. So why would you even lie to us on why you brought in Mr. Matlala? Because it was clearly not on the basis of the statement.
May I answer?
Please.
Thank you. I've said we met before the meeting. We were briefed by the team. We met before the meeting. My team briefed me, and we met with the the chief, deputy chief operations, and the team. That's where we were briefed. You see, but as I've said that we met before and after. This one is after, but the one of us planning and putting for VIP protection for him doing what is this thing? As I've said that we're assisting in terms of the escort and deployment in the outer perimeters. It was that of one. You see, but for this one we met after, as I've said.
That's why I asked you where you got the threat, Mr. Mkhwanazi. And then I had also asked you if you were meeting a month after the state of the city. What is it that compelled you before the state of the city to go and get Mr. Matlala? And you said to me there was a threat, and this is evidence of the threat. So I have a problem with your version of events, but maybe let's move because I'm just running out of time now.
May I correct something?
Yes.
It was the day after. That's why there was a statement. That's why I've even said we met day after. That's where the mayor was happy and said we did the work. 30-31.
I don't know if that makes sense to you, Mr. Mkhwanazi, but I do want to move on now. You said, Mr. Matlala said, are you going to pay us? When you were asking him for all the things that you were asking him. In which world, and please, I agree with you, the public service is tough, you have to be creative, you have to find ways, but when you approach a service provider, you have no intention of paying him. Why does he do all of this for you? Is it truly for marketing? And then what are you getting out of it? I know that in the course of your evidence, you were still telling us something about losing your siblings. I don't know if that was the point that you were going to drive, but this relationship is just not understood by us. Why would you go to a service provider? This man makes money from these things. What is he getting out of it? Because according to you, you're saying it's marketing. And what are you getting out of it?
Thank you, Chair. You remember I've said, even after the engagement, he was still asking that, is our VIP or are we not outsourcing VIP? You see, because we've got security that are stating that out. So I told him, no, our VIP is insourced. You see, I think in a wrong line, we're expecting that VIP will be outsourced. But with us, we're using our own Metro Police officers. Yeah.
Let me stop there. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Mkhwanazi. Thank you very much, Chairperson. We rest.
Thank you so much. Honorable Nomvalo.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair.
Your time ends at 16:43.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Mkhwanazi.
Afternoon, honorable member.
Have you ever received money from Ket Matlala?
Yes.
How did you receive and what was it for?
We used to, I had 3 burials, and I was having a challenge. You see, I spoke to him. In fact, he visited twice paying.
May you please speak through the mic?
Yes, he visited twice paying, what do you pay? What do you call it? I want this terminology. When we are visiting, where there's a funeral, tribute, or he came there, yes. He
To your-
donated, yes.
to your home?
Yes, yes, yes. No, to where they were staying, to my home, yes.
So
Staying with my mother, some cousin are staying with my sisters, yes.
So he visited
Yes.
twice?
Yes, 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 yes. But on the other one, he was there at the funeral, physical day at the funeral.
Can you recollect when that transpired?
It's late 2022 towards 2023. It's what after the second COVID, but towards 2023, it was late.
So you confirm under oath that those are the only monies you received from him?
Yes, except the monies that we eat. No, physically, it's not monies that I confirmed.
Except the monies that?
No, when we eat, everyone buys food.
In the
when we're
restaurant?
eating, yeah. Sorry?
In the restaurant?
Yeah, when we sit and eat, talk. Yeah, except that.
So
But
when
the
you eat in
contribution is
in the restaurants, he gives you money?
No.
He gives you money?
No. I'm saying when you eat, he pays, I pay.
He pays the
I
bill?
pay, yes. But the contribution, he did it twice or thrice, you see, in my account.
In your?
My account.
Okay.
Yes, towards the burials and everything.
To your account?
Yes.
Not to your mother, which is which? You said he came to your home, he
No, he
gave the
visited-
money
no.
to your mother, so...
No, he visited.
He visited?
He paid tribute. He came physical to tribute. Then he paid through my account to assist.
To your
No,
account?
he didn't give mother, yes, to my account, yes.
Not to your mother?
No.
So he came to your home, and then as a way of showing sympathy, he paid money to your account?
Yes, Chair.
How much was that?
It's not specific. It's thrice.
How much was that?
I'm not sure.
You can't even remember even a single transaction?
The other one, it was 21. The other one, it was
21 what?
21,000. The other one, it was 25, if not 30. I don't have a specific, but he contributed, Chair.
So if we can summon your bank account or your bank statements rather, those are the only transactions we can see?
Yeah, in fact, they did that. They checked.
I beg your pardon?
They did that. They checked. Yes, those are the only.
Those are the only monies? Yes. You have said that you believe that you are on the receiving end of a succession plan which does not, in accordance with your observation, involve you. That is why you are here today, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that succession plan involves the chief of police, correct?
Yes, and his people. That's what I've said, yes.
What is the point of contention here? Why are you, if there is a plan, not part of their plan? Why are you not a preferred individual?
I'm not the person who comes from the side of projects. I'm the person who comes from the side of operations. I was never part of or in the close circle with those that are staying in the offices, and I was always operational, you see. And one of the things, Chair, it's what we were investigating now in terms of the building that are not finished but paid fully. In what about the constructions or the project, you see, that were supposed to be delivered, things are not delivered. In fact, it's at the high level of the city. And I'm leading that.
So what is the point of contention?
I'm leading that this one, when it takes over, is going to be problematic. Investigate what is not supposed to be investigated. In fact, that's what I'm doing now.
So in their view, you are a man of principle?
Not man of principle, a problematic man.
So because you are a man of principle?
Not principle per se. I think I'm a problematic man to them.
You are a problematic man?
Yes.
The reason for being problematic?
I always complain, Chair, about resources in the city. Number one, as I've said, can't have police officers without bullet vests. That must respond. And there are companies that are appointed to provide those things. You can't have police officers without uniform, because the current situation that officers are there operational, there are companies that have been appointed to provide uniform. Uniform is there. Secondly, that's what I've been talking about the whole day, issues of vehicles, you see. And as I've said, that all those things, they affect you operational, because it is you and the guys that are doing operation that are seeing these things. And then there is supporting division that must support you in terms of all those things. But operational is a different story. You see, we were dealt with many times by unions in terms of occupational health and safety, because those boots and those uniforms, part of protective clothing.
So
Officers must have
those
that.
are the only reasons.
I think.
So in terms of your operational duties, you are not reading from the same scripture. Is that the best summary I can give to the scenario you have given?
Yeah, from my side, it's that. Because in all these meetings, we're not seeing eye to eye. They will say, this has been delivered. I said, no. It has been, like for example, we've got a precinct in Captain Park, Edlin precinct. You can't even now. It has been paid. They said, oh, let's go and occupy. We said, where is the occupational certificate? The company has been paid. The company said, when you went inside, it's an opposite. You go to Benoni precinct, you see, it's fully paid, but 50% of it has been done. You can't even occupy, and there's a challenge. Officers,
ipso facto, they patched you. They patched you as a consequence of that.
Yeah, with blood and everything, they patched me.
Are you an honest man?
Yes, Chair. Yes, Chair.
Did you disclose the monies you got from Matlala?
No, I disclosed.
Where did you disclose them to?
I bought cows. I disclosed that I've got cows. I put those that I've. It was 20 to the city. With the city to disclose.
You did what?
With the city to disclose.
Yes.
2022, 2023. Yes, I think it's 2022.
I'm talking about the 3 transactions that you have alluded to.
Yes,
Did
Chair.
you disclose them?
Yes. The first 2 and the last one is for the cows. I disclosed to the council, to the city.
To the council?
Yes.
Do you have records?
It's with the city, sir.
Showing that?
Yeah, it's with the city, not with me.
So if we request them from the city, they will give them
They will give you, sir. They will give you.
So you disclosed all the 3 transactions?
I disclosed of the funeral. I didn't disclose because it was going to the funeral. But of the cows, I disclosed. The one it was for funeral, it was not me, and I.
But it was transferred to your account. That's what you told us, isn't it so?
If it was not for personal benefit, it was for my personal benefit. It was.
No, but it was transferred.
Yes,
to your
yes,
account.
yes. You're correct. You're correct.
So you're not supposed to disclose it.
Because it's a funeral, I didn't share. I didn't. For funeral, I didn't. I won't like to.
Does it matter what the money is paid for?
Yes, when you disclose, you must mention money for this, money for this.
Yeah, but I'm saying the fact that it was a funeral, does it make it less important for you to disclose it? Because it was for the funeral.
I took it, the funeral is not that they can't publicize things for the funeral.
No, but
you're not answering the question.
Yes.
What is the requirement? When you receive money, do you have to disclose it or not?
For personal, can you disclose?
So you can't, you are telling this committee that if the money has been paid for the funeral, you can't disclose it?
No, I'm not saying you can't. I didn't do that. Let me say so. I didn't do that. I didn't.
No, I'm talking of principle now. I'm not talking about what you did and what you did not do. In terms of principle, when you receive money for the funeral, are you supposed to disclose it?
Okay. You know, when you check people that some donated 1,000 rand, some donated 500, I didn't disclose all those monies.
But I'm talking principle, Mr.
Commissioner Mkhwanazi, what is the policy? What does the policy say?
It says when you receive gifts, any gifts, money or any gifts for personal benefit, to disclose.
Correct.
Yes.
Now, for the funeral, because I want you to state it on the record. For the funeral, you are not supposed to disclose it. Is that the evidence you are tendering before this committee?
No, I didn't disclose for the funeral.
No.
You are not supposed to.
Let's leave what you did not do. I'm talking about principle now.
principally, you're supposed to disclose, but I didn't disclose.
You didn't?
Yes.
So you did something wrong?
I think so. Because I thought it's funeral. But if it's wrong, I can't deny it.
Okay. You, in your statement, when you explain how you got to know Mr. Van Wyk, who was the director of the Medicare company, you are saying you were approached by members of the Metro Police. Who are those members?
I think it's CLU members. Who's this guy? He has resigned. I'll remember his name. Is an officer, a white officer that stays in Boxbeck. I will give you the names. Yes.
So how many were they when they approached?
There were two members.
How did they approach you? Did they tell you telephonically or?
No, they came to my office.
They came to your office?
Yes. In fact, all the specialized units are reporting in Boxbeck. The director reports in Boxbeck and all the units and the members, because it's a central point. All of us, we meet every day, communicate every day with them. But it was physically. They came to my office.
Was it not necessary for you to attach their affidavit in this statement? Because we were not there when you met them. When they came to your office, we were not there. So how are we supposed to know that indeed that took place?
No, I will get the affidavit, but the other one is not working. But I'll try to trace him. You'll get the affidavit. I didn't think about the affidavit because I've already said that they communicated.
Yeah, because here, Mr. Mkhwanazi, we are writing to people who were not there. Yes. We are narrating these events and we were never part of them. So how are we supposed to know that what you have told us in your statement is anything to go by?
I think even him, he can attach to that, because the first meeting, they were part of that briefing. Mike Van Wyk, they were with me in the same, because I didn't go there alone. I said, guys, you know him, let's go. They were part of that engagement. And
so
the Medicare is still there, they're still there, you can even get.
So they came to tell you about Mr. Van Wyk and their services, correct?
Yes.
And then
not just the things that he wants to do for us. Yes.
Health services.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you said they must bring him to office.
No, we went to his office.
You went to his office?
Yeah, we went to the Medicare clinic. Me and these two guys.
So when they told you about Mr. Van Wyk, did they tell you under a formal or informal conversation?
No, it was informal conversation. They just approached me. No, now we've got this. I won't say it's formal. When a person comes uninvited, you don't have a formal meeting and say, because my office is an open door office. They always come.
So after they gave you that presentation, then you said, let's go to his office.
Yes. Let it be him who present that so that we understand.
Did you inform your line manager that there is this good story that have been told by so and so, and I think it's good that I go and witness what they've told me by hearing from the horse's mouth?
He has met him. We met. No, I met him. He briefed me.
You met who?
Let me explain. Okay. May I explain?
Yeah. Please mention names.
Yeah.
When you say
no, I met Mike Van Wyk. Then I went to brief my deputy chief, Mr. Mzolo. At some time they met and he presented the same thing. That's when he went.
No. My question is, before going to Mr. Van Wyk for the first time, after you have been told about him by these guys who were working for the Metro police, as a first instance, did you go to your line manager to say, line manager, this is what I've been told by these guys. In pursuit of it, I think I must go to Mr. Van Wyk to hear his proposal?
I meet many people, we don't do that.
No, don't generalize.
I don't do that.
It was specific.
No, I didn't do that.
You didn't do it.
We met after I've met Mike, not before.
Yeah. Because I'm talking about Van Wyk, not about other people, so let's not generalize. So you went straight to Mr. Van Wyk and he made this presentation to you.
Yes.
And then after that, you invited him to come and present to Metro, correct?
No. I met my deputy chief.
Yes.
Then he briefed the chief. Then he said, no. There will be a day, because in that meeting, you don't just come and present to CSMT.
Yes.
They arrange, make appointments, and put you in a slot or give you time for presentation. That's a process that they're doing.
Where is the proposal?
Hey. There's a document. I think there is. I will check.
Did you attach it here?
Memorandum of understanding.
No.
Yes.
The proposal.
No, I was not part of that meeting. I don't know what other things that they discussed there. But one that I know.
No, Mr. Mkhwanazi. When he presented to you in your first meeting, what did he present?
No, when he presented, he didn't have a document. He spoke about these things. But I know that he developed a proposal.
So he spoke from his heart.
Yes.
And then you got impressed.
No, it was a plan that you wanted, yes. It was a plan that you wanted, you see. But I know that after he presented there was a proposal. There was a proposal.
Where?
After he presented at CSMT, he showed me what he presented
No.
there.
I'm talking about your first meeting.
No, there was nothing for me.
There was no proposal.
There was no document, there was nothing.
Okay, I'm sure you are hooked into not just the National Pulse, but Parliament's ad hoc committee. We'll get up to date with that as soon as we can. Right now, it's 4:30. Here's the news headlines with Kolofelo.
Thank you, Ashraf. Good afternoon. In the headlines, the Sawa Eastern Cape Police have confirmed that the alleged shooter at a school in Ntabangulu has been declared dead at the scene. Police are investigating a fatal shooting of a teacher that occurred earlier today at Ntabangulu Primary School, where 2 other teachers were also injured in the incident. Suspended EMPD Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi has told Parliament's ad hoc committee that his relationship with attempted murder accused Vusmusi Ket Matlala developed into a brotherly relationship. Mkhwanazi says he first met Matlala ahead of the 2022 State of the City address in Ekurhuleni. And 5 lions rescued after devastating fires in the Overberg region of the Western Cape have been safely relocated to the Lions Rock in Bethlehem. Greg Hose has the details at 5.
SAFM, guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting off in Gauteng, the M1 northbound in Sandton has a crash after Greyston Drive, the M1 southbound in Parktown, a crash before Houghton Drive, and Eskempashleli Drive northbound in Pretoria has delays towards Mood Street. In KZN, a stationary vehicle on the N3 northbound after Key Ridge West, the M13 westbound in Pinetown queuing towards Stapleton Road, and poor visibility on the N3 northbound from Camperdown interchange to Sedara Road, so you're asked to expect lane closures. In Cape Town, the M5 southbound queuing towards the N2 highway, Mike Pinard Boulevard northbound in Belleville queuing towards Frans Conradi Drive, and Beach Road eastbound slow moving along Muizenberg beachfront. With your traffic update, I'm Irma G.
This is SAFM Sports with Duming Khapele.
Jimmy, you have a story about the Lions. Well,
Yes.
it was the Lions on the news. It's a different sort of Lions.
Yeah, we start things off with rugby, where the Lions have named a strong and experienced team for tomorrow night's URC match against the Ospreys in Swansea. The Lions are 7th on the table, and no win will boost their playoff chances, while Ospreys in 9th place and could move ahead of them with a home victory. Springbok prop Asenati Ntlabakanye leads a powerful front row with Frank Horn captaining the side from number 8. In the backs, Morne van der Berg returns at scrum half with Chris Smith at fly half. Henko van Wyk earns his 50th cap in midfield, while the Lions will be without several injured players, including the likes of JC Pretorius and Juan Skuman, amongst others. In the meantime, the Investec Champions Cup round of 16 dates and kickoffs times have been confirmed. There are 2 South African teams left in the competition, but they both have tricky ties away from home, as the Stormers face Toulon at Stade Mayo, and the Bulls visit Glasgow Warriors both on the 4th of April at 4 and 5:30 p.m. respectively. Now, the Stormers last featured in the knockouts back in 2024, and a win for the Cape Townians could see a South African derby between themselves and the Bulls, or a showdown with Glasgow. Meanwhile, Hollywood Bets Sharks hooker Bongi Mbonambi believes that the Stormers will set the tone early when the two coastal rivals clash at Cape Town Stadium in the Vodacom United Rugby Championship.
Yeah, no, for me, I'm expecting the Stormers to come out charging out of the doors. We know they're a good side. We know they want a fast start. They've got some good quality young players coming through, and obviously they've got some experience also. So yeah, as you said, I do have some good mates there. But what happens between the four lines, it's a different story. And what happens between the four lines usually stays on the four lines. And yeah, outside of rugby, I do have some good memories there. The Stormers still have some good mates, but I think the first task going to be to go down to Cape Town to perform well and to make sure that we get a good result as a Sharks team.
In terms of football, Kukune United coach Eric Tinkler says that he can restore new signing Lebogang Phiri to his best form. The 31-year-old midfielder joined Babina Noko on a 6-month deal after spending half a year without a club. He made his debut as a substitute in Tuesday's 1-0 defeat to Stellenbosch, which left Kukune fourth in the Premiership League with 25 points. Tinkler, who has known Phiri since childhood, praised his professionalism and work ethic, insisting that the former Bafana international only needs match conditioning. He believes that Phiri will be up for full speed by the times Kukune face TS Galaxy. In terms of tennis, world number 2 Iga Swiatek advanced to the third round of the Australian Open. This is with straight sets over Maria Buskova. The Pole claimed a 6-2, 6-3 win and next faces Russia's Anna Kanaliskaya for a place in the fourth round. In the meantime, two-time defending champion Yannick Sinner stormed into the third round with a dominant win over James Duckworth 6-1, 6-4 and 6-2. And next up for Sinner is big serving American Elliot Spizzeri. And then Stan Wawrinka is also in the third round with a 4-6, 6-3, 3-6, 7-5 and 7-6 win over Arthur Gee. And next faces the winner between Taylor Fritz and Vit Kopriva. In terms of motorsport, Formula One champions McLaren will delay their first run at pre-season testing in Barcelona until day 2 or 3, allowing maximum development time for the 2026 car. Now, the 5-day test at the circuit will be held behind closed doors, with each team limited to 3 days on track. And team principal Andrea Stella described the redesign process as unprecedented, citing sweeping regulations changes to engines, aerodynamics and the tires. I'll have more on other sports in the next hour.
Okay, perfect.
At Dis-Chem, get ready to start the year strong with bigger savings and better rewards. Swipe your Better Rewards card to save a massive 165 Rand on Pampers Premium Care Nappies. Now just 424 Rand 79. And get a massive 30% off Johnson's Baby Wipes. Look out for the Better Rewards icon to get an extra 10% off on Better Rewards brands. Offers valid from Tuesday 13 January to Sunday 15 February. Only at Dis-Chem. Better health starts here.
SAFM music crafted to make you feel real good. Handpicked just for your pleasure. Classics sounding so good only on SAFM.
Economic news on SAFM. Facts and figures you can count on.
And the person who has all those facts is Makwe Masilela from Makwe Fund Managers. You've got news, well, local and global in a moment, but does that start with Cecil?
Yes, Ashraf, Sasol on destoning all previously closed low-quality mining sections are now fully operational, but the gas supply from Mozambique was lower, and Netfresh delivered improved production performance. Chemicals market conditions remained soft across all regions, resulting in lower revenues. Fuel sales volumes revised upward from 0.3% to 5 to 10% higher, supported by improved net
Lions have now settled into their adaptation enclosures, where our dedicated caretakers are monitoring them closely. Our thoughts are with the entire Panthera Africa team during this difficult time. At Lions Rock, we are proud to stand together for animal welfare and to provide these lions with a safe, calm environment while Panthera Africa recovers from this disaster and the team works through its next steps.
Top story. Police have confirmed that the alleged shooter at a school at Ntabankulu in the Eastern Cape has been declared dead at the scene. That's SAFM News. I'm Greg Huss.
In sports this hour, Royals ready to come out blazing against confident Joburg Super Kings outfit. Lions lean on Springbok power for URC clash with Ospreys, and McLaren to delay Barcelona test debut as 2026 car development continues. More details at 5:30.
SAFM, guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting off in Gauteng, the N1 southbound has delays at Grasmere services, the M1 southbound in Melrose queuing towards Athol Oaklands Road, and the N12 westbound in Lenasia queuing towards the R558 Protea Glen exit. In KZN, the N3 eastbound slow moving towards Key Ridge, and the M13 westbound in Pinetown slow moving on Fields Hill. In Cape Town, on the N2 in Mossel Bay, that road is closed in the Dana Bay area due to a large fire, and Strand Road eastbound in Stickland slow moving at Lebel Road. With your traffic update, I'm Irma G.
Stay safe on the roads. SAFM is with you.
63-year-old Almero knows all about saving with Outsurance.
We do save 417 Rand. That's about 5,000 Rand a year.
That's an awesome saving on Almero's 2021 Ford Ranger.
And there's a out bonus that you get if you don't claim for 3 years. I am really looking forward to it.
How much money could Outsurance save you? Get a quote now. SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
What if your child could achieve better academic results in 2026? At Teneo School, they can. Our smart school system tracks every learner in real time and helps teachers spot gaps early. The results? With over 3,500 successful Teneo School matriculants, learners improve their average marks by 12% in the first year. Access affordable private schooling, no restrictive entry, fees starting from 3,000 Rand per month. Enroll now for 2026 at teneoschool.co.za. That's TENEO school.co.za.
Get barter school shoes at Spar for 75 Rand when you spend 350 Rand or more and swipe your rewards card. Buy 1 litre Spar Long Life Milk, 6-pack, full cream or low fat for 89.99 plus 200 megs free data on Spar Mobile. Or 750 gram Nescafe Real Coffee tin or 800 gram pouch for 129.99 plus 300 megs free data on Spar Mobile. Price is valid from 20 Jan till 8 Feb while stocks last. Only at Spar. T's and C's apply.
The National Pulse with Ashraf Garda on SAFM. You're listening to the National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
You have any thoughts on these, transport licenses for the scholars and whether the validity, as they say, they're waiting for their permits and it's ongoing. There's massive delays, so they go ahead and transport these learners anyway. Besides the overcrowding and other things, meaning is there another side to a story that we don't quite understand? We'll chat to Bongani and Blovo about that ahead of an impending strike protest tomorrow with all these drivers, which means that these learners may not get to school anyway. This was as per Lenasia today, right? We'll chat to Patricia de Lille, the Minister of Tourism, later on. She is at Davos talking about tourism policies, economic policy. But let's talk about UNICEF now, because this coming Saturday, the 24th of January, South Africa, together with the rest of the world, will observe International Day of Education. It's a global observance by UNESCO and the United Nations to celebrate education's vital role in peace and development. The theme for the year is the power of youth in co-creating education. Now, there's more about it, and we can think about STEM subjects like mathematics and engineering and technology and science too. But let's find out more about it with Nokutula Prusent, the Adolescent Development Specialist at UNICEF South Africa. Nokutula, thank you for joining us on the National Pulse.
Thank you, Ashraf. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to our listeners.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. I'm always interested in how one can, in South Africa, internalize an international day of education, internalize it to South Africa, and make it relevant to our country. So, what then is the plan this time round?
Yes. Before maybe I could answer your question, I just want to quickly just pass our condolences to the families of those young people that were lost during the course of last week and during this week as well. So we just want to say to the families that we really, really feel their pain. Yeah, to get into your question regarding our celebration as the country when we celebrate the International Day of Education, as UNICEF in partnership with BMW South Africa, we are just wanting to, uplift our flag and say this is our contribution to South Africa in uplifting the lives of young people. We have this partnership which is under the bridge, and its main purpose is to actually provide access and make sure that young people have quality education when it comes to STEM education, that is zero science, technology, engineering and mathematics. And we know that a lot of times most of our young people are battling when it comes to those subjects because maybe of the poor quality of education, educators not able to deliver that, and as well as not having enough infrastructure and equipment to actually make sure that learners are engaging with the new technology. So we have been very fortunate to partner with BMW as part of this global partnership to provide this kind of resources to South Africa, making sure that some of the schools that we are supporting have relevant equipment, have teachers that have been well trained and are able to deliver, and they are confident in the delivery of their education when it comes to the STEM subject.
And I mean, in saying that, what is different from what UNESCO or UNICEF does in this case here? What is different compared to, whatever Department of National or Basic Education does?
Yes. So basically, I wouldn't say that there is something that is very different, but what we are doing, we are helping the department to implement the new curriculum on coding that was launched last year. So what is different is that we've been given some schools that are part of the pilot schools all over the country. We have about in each province plus minus 110 countries where we're actually providing training, hands-on training to the educators to deliver the new coding and robotic curriculum in the classroom. Over and above that, we also help the learners to participate in various competitions to ensure that they are confident enough and they are able to actually use the skills that they've learned in the classroom and compete with other young people. But thirdly, is around this exposure. A lot of our young people, especially those that are coming from the lower quintiles, they do not have access to equipment, STEM, and also they don't even know people that have done certain careers within the STEM industry. So what we are doing and what is different with this partnership is that we're recruiting private sectors to come on board and provide job shadowing and mentorship during school holidays to these learners so that they can begin to see these careers that they don't know anything about, and they get exposed, and they then later decide which careers they would like to pursue, because a lot of people, it's difficult to choose something when you don't know it. But once you know it and you have practical experience, you even have a mentor that is going to help you, guide you. Then you know where you're going. It becomes easier for our learners.
And that would be this program that you call Bridge, right?
Yes. So it encompasses that.
Yeah, okay. How successful has it been? I mean, how do you measure its success?
Well, the success currently, I would say, because we started in 2023, so the success has been really, I think, around roughly now around the figure that we have reached over 1,000 schools, we have reached over 1,000 educators, we have reached over 90,000 learners nationwide. So that is the success. At this point in time, we're talking in terms of the reach and quantity. But going forward in 2026, we're going to look at impact now. What have we taught that has made a change in the delivery of the lessons in class, in how the learners are interacting with the technology, and how learners are passing in some of those subjects that they're struggling with. So that's the impact we have. But in terms of the quantities are quite tangible. We know that we have reached quite a number of people, young people and educators, including communities, because part of what we're doing is establishing the hubs. So where we're providing equipment so that not only the learners that are in school can actually benefit from these laboratories where we're providing coding and robotics, but also young people that are unemployed, they can come in and begin to learn other skills that will help them to be marketable or to actually be entrepreneurs.
Just lastly, I mean, the theme for this year is the power of youth in co-creating education. I'm particularly interested in the co-creating part. How do youth co-create?
So we have always been sitting behind the desk in offices and we're talking to ourselves, as specialists, as educators, as whoever else. But when it comes to these new skills, especially the skills that talk to the fourth industrial revolution, you can no longer sit alone. Young people already, they have a step ahead. Some of them, they know how to use some of the technology. But then, so what we then encourage is for the educators, of course they will lead, but when it comes to co-creation, you make young people to take charge of the lessons. Young people are no longer hiding what they are learning, but they are collaborating, they are sharing. It's not about, I don't want others to know what I'm doing because then they're going to beat me in class. We are encouraging critical thinking where learners are actually sitting and looking at whatever that they are trying to construct using the equipment that they're given, that they apply critical thinking, that they are able to actually make informed decisions. So it is kind of a teamwork as opposed to an old school where we were like, you work alone so that you can pass alone.
Okay.
You are the only one in the class that shines.
All right. Just lastly, I mean, I note that you launched this year's campaign for coding and robotics at the Kwa Zamakhutle Special School, School for Learners and Disabilities. Tell me why that school was chosen.
Oh, so the schools is a collaboration between ourselves together with the National Department of Department of Education, as well as the provinces. So the provinces, we have a tool to actually identify the school, but then the school was identified as the school that will actually benefit learners with a number of challenges when it comes to learning and teaching. So this is a primary school, and we went there and we started training the educators on coding and robotics. And they were quite excited about it, but they were scared that maybe their learners will not be able to engage. But to our greatest surprise, the learners actually understood it. It didn't matter how young were they, how, in terms of maybe the scales, in terms of their abilities, how low it was. They were engaging with technology. They were curious. They were eager to learn. They were very enthusiastic. And as a result, we felt that, we can actually use the school as, our springboard to say, we're not only looking at your schools that are performing better, schools that have resources, but we're looking at the lower quintiles. But lower quintiles with specific challenges, and to unlock certain things that young people, have no skills at this point in time. Even the communities, they just don't know how to go about. But then, BMW, with their generous support, we were able to get into the school. We filled the school with a lot of equipment. The school will now be benefiting other surrounding schools with delivery of training, with delivery of competition. And what is good is that also the community is excited. Young people will stay. Some of them are boarders, so they're staying there full time. But it's open to the community to come and interact with the facility. Once they're interacting with the facility, they're also interacting with the young people so that they don't feel isolated from where they live.
Okay, thank you so much for that and sharing it. We are indeed inspired. Nokuthula Prosent, the Adolescent Development Specialist at UNICEF South Africa. To recap, this coming Saturday is the International Day of Education. South Africa very much involved in it, and the theme for the year, the power of youth in co-creating. And as per my guest, what they've done is they've created the program called Bridge, which, well, it's a STEM mentorship program. Lots to be inspired by that. What about what's happening at Davos in terms of South Africa's pitch for all things, including tourism? We'll get to Minister Patricia de Lille right after this.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Extra your study potential with free gifts from Vodacom. Like the Huawei Pura 80 Pro from just $889 per month over 36 months on a 3 gig Red Core plan. Comes with a free Huawei Watch Fit 4 worth $2,999. Plus, get 5 gigs YouTube data for 3 months and 2 months free YouTube Premium. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
What's with the camouflage, Dorf?
I'm going hunting. Just me, nature, and my most underrated off-roader, a rental car.
Hunting? You could fit that little car in your backpack, Dorf.
I sit in the driver's seat. Baggage at the back, chairs on the roof. The kudu is going to get in and strap its own seatbelt, Savvy.
Could do with more legroom, Dorf. Go hunt for a new 4x4 at WeBuy Cars. They got great deals.
Oh, shot, Savvy.
Don't be Dorf, be savvy. We buy cars geared for that big trip, geared for you.
The National Pulse, weekdays, 3 to 6 p.m.
Okay, the bad news, we can't quite chat to Patricia de Lille right now. There's, inevitably these things happen, meetings at Davos, and they get chopped and changed with time. So she's, can I say, stuck in a meeting? That's the bad news. The good news, I can talk to you, right? Here's an interesting one. Good day to the National Pulse. I noticed something very rare about President Trump's demeanor. This is at Davos, right? He was humble and down to earth when requesting Greenland. This was so surprising for America. And no wonder EU is entertaining his Greenland acquisition. Yeah? Okay. Did you also think that was the case?
Julius Mkhwanazi and his cronies, they were running the EMPD like it's their spaza shop. Acting in this position, after 30 days acting in that position, just to open space for their cronies. They were not even advertising this post for men and women who are in the EMPD, who are capable. These guys were running the EMPD like their spaza shop. No, man, this guy belongs in jail, this one. Donald Trump, a lunatic. A lunatic.
I think you must set up your own commission because you are so on top of things, I can tell you now. Talking about Donald Trump, here's one.
Good day, Ashraf. These politicians are like sharks. The ones there by Davos. Macron think he's Tom Cruise with his son. Macron think he's Tom...
Sorry, I played that already. That didn't delete my apologies. And I think I commented about that point about Macron and Tom Cruise. Right. Here's another.
Good afternoon, Ashraf and the listeners of SAFM. Ashraf, you, I don't know now. During Matlanga Commission, Mr. Mkhwanazi said something that he knows about the cars that were fitted with blue light. But today he's changing the story. So you ask yourself, where is the truth now? Because now everything that he had said at the Matlanga Commission, he is now distancing himself from all of those things. So it means somewhere, somehow he lied to the commission, Matlanga, or now he's lying to the ad hoc committee. Anyway, it's fine. Let's see how they run. Nachher hier in Lichtenberg.
Okay, got that. In fact, I also received a message, anonymous one, just pointing out what happens at the Langlaagte licensing office, right? Saying, even if you have an appointment at Langlaagte, you get surrounded by these illegal agents. This is outside, right? Then you have to pass the security guys what happens, they tell you you're wasting your time. They give us X amount of money and you'll get your learners, your drivers, your PDP registered trucks. Even if you can't drive, it all starts there. Sure. Right, USA, what about it?
Well, I think the political punching between the US and the rest of the world is quite interesting. But I must say, Ashraf, the speech yesterday where the Prime Minister of Canada was just top class. It was just excellent and such a marvel to listen to. I mean, he said all the right things with the right tone, but the message was beautifully crafted and it landed so beautifully. I think it's quite a marvel to listen to that kind of speech, in today's world where people just say things they do not mean. There was something so authentic about it, and I just loved it.
Okay, so, we played that earlier, but I want to just say this, just for emphasis. So this is some of the things that he said, the Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney, right? He said, "Today I will talk about a rupture in the world order, the end of a pleasant fiction and the beginning of a harsh reality, where the geopolitics of the great powers is not subject to any constraints." And then he said, other countries, especially middle powers like Canada, are not powerless. They have the capacity to build a new order that encompasses our values, such as respect for human rights, sustainable development, solidarity, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of states. He continued, "It seems that every day we are reminded that we live in an era of great power rivalry, that the rules-based order is fading, that the strong can do what they can and the weak must suffer what they must." And two other things before I end on that conversation. He says, when we only negotiate bilaterally with a hegemon, we negotiate from weakness. We accept what's offered. We compete with each other to be the most accommodating. Middle powers must act together, because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu. I think that is a very important point. Middle powers must act together, because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu. Right, in that same theme, there's a comment too.
Hi, Ashraf. Europe unleashed America to the world to do all its dirty work centuries ago. It was bound to happen that America was going to turn against them. Now, all of the world must lose their minds and start protesting and talking against Trump and all of that. Is that what we're all supposed to do now? Because it's happening in Europe, we're supposed to all jump and make a big noise about it? What about how many bombs did Israel drop on Lebanon yesterday? There was a journalist or a car full of journalists that died yesterday in Palestine. And one of the journalists used to work for a very big news network. None of that is anywhere to be seen because Donald Trump is doing his big song and dance, and it's happening to Europe.
Well, to your point, what was you talking about? You just talking about it. That is why it is important. I know we're constrained with time and space, even on this show, but it's important when the opportunity comes up that you raise the issue that you've just raised, isn't it? Right. Here's one about the water.
Good afternoon, Ashraf. That guy who said that Julius Mkhwanazi is drinking water too much, I don't know what is a problem with us. We are created differently, and we have got health problems differently. At school, when we were at school, even from primary up to high school, if we could debate, one to stand in front of people debating could sweat the whole body without any case being accused of. So a person, how can you say somebody why drinking water? They were created differently.
Well,
But
listen, the caller was saying it, Stephen, he was saying with a lot of laughter too, and it's like he can't understand. It wasn't like his wife's drinking. He just seems like he's drinking so much more than maybe you and I.
Hi, good afternoon, Asha. Hope you are well. Yeah. So after pounding the scholar transport, now they must come for taxis that are ranking. They must clean up them. They are all a scrap. They must clean up them. And they have driving nonsense here on the road.
Okay, you've made your point. Clean them up is what you say, right? By the way, just talking about cleaning them up, maybe this is not a case of cleaning them up. Friday, we have the fireside chat as we now into the new year. And my guest tomorrow is Joshua Maponga. You will know him, of course. I mean, he's very well known. Zimbabwean-born public speaker, author, philosopher, leader, musician, entrepreneur. He's done it all. Currently, I understand, living in or doing some work in Tanzania. So he's the fireside chat guest tomorrow. I wonder what your questions for him then. Right now, 5:30. Here's the news headlines with Greg.
Quick look at the headlines. The Eastern Cape Education Department says another teacher has been confirmed dead following a shooting incident at a school in Ntabankulu. A French arms manufacturer and the former President Jacob Zuma will now have to wait another week to hear if their latest application in the Pietermaritzburg High Court is successful. And South Korea has enacted the world's first comprehensive law regulating AI. There's a full update at 6 o'clock.
SAFM, guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting off in Gauteng on Baysnodia Drive in Randburg Ridge, there's a crash at Jim Fisher Road. And on the N1 northbound in Midrand, a crash before Olifantsfontein Road. In KZN, the M1 Higginson Highway westbound in Chatsworth has a crash before Havenside Drive and a stationary vehicle on the N3 northbound after Stockville Road. In Cape Town, Bottleray Road in Kuilsriver is where a crash is reported near Crest Road and Marine Drive outbound queuing through Pardon Island. With your traffic update, I'm Irma G.
This is SAFM Sports with Duming Khapele.
Right, to me, what's top of your sporting agenda?
Well, Paul Royals and Joburg Super Kings meet again, this time with everything on the line. The two teams face off in a Betway SA20 Season 4 eliminator in Centurion today. It's very simple. Win and stay alive, lose and actually go home. Only one team will progress, with the winner earning a place in Qualifier 2 against Sunrisers Eastern Cape at Wanderers tomorrow night. These sides know each other very well. They met just days ago in the final group match where Joburg Super Kings beat Paul Royals to set up this playoff rematch. Now the Royals will be looking for revenge when it matters the most. So we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on what is happening there. But also, Devault Brevers smashed 75 of 38 balls to help the Pretoria Capitals into the SA20 final with a 7-wicket win over Sunrisers Eastern Cape. Brevers says that he was simply glad to seal the victory and head straight into Sunday's decider at Newlands, while the Sunrisers Eastern Cape will get a second chance in the qualifier against the winner tonight.
Yeah, firstly to start, it's very important for me. I give it all to God. He blessed me with a talent to do this, and it was very special to be able to be there out there for the boys. Finish it obviously with Shafane, but Bryce played such a key role as well with bowling and the batting. But it was really nice to know that we're going straight into the finals. We've got some time to recover and to prepare. But yeah, very proud of the boys, and it was a team effort. We all fight it out there, and it was just very enjoyable to be out there and walking off the field with everyone. Well, with Shafane.
In football, Sekhukhune United coach Eric Tinkler says that he can restore new signing Lebogang Phiri to his best form. The 31-year-old joined Babina Noko on a 6-month deal after spending half a year without a club. He made his debut as a substitute in Tuesday's 1-0 defeat to Stellenbosch, which left Sekhukhune fourth on the Premiership log with 25 points. Tinkler, who has known Phiri since childhood, praised his professionalism and work ethic, insisting the former Bafana Bafana international only needs match conditioning, and he believes that Perry will be up to full speed by the times Kukune face Tiers Galaxy. In rugby, the Lions have named a strong and experienced team for tomorrow night's URC match against the Ospreys in Swansea. The Lions are 7th on the table, and they know that they need a win to boost their playoff chances, while the Ospreys, who are in 9th place, could move ahead of them with a home victory. Springbok prop Asenati Ntlabakanye leads a powerful front row, and Frank Horn captaining the side from number 8 in the backs. Morne van der Berg returns as scrum half with Chris Smith at fly half. Hanko van Veek earns his 50th cap in midfield, and the Lions will be without some key several injured players, including the likes of Juan Skuman and JC Pretorius, amongst others. Meanwhile, Hollywood bets Sharks hooker Bongi Mbonambi believes that the Stormers will set the tone early when the two coastal rivals clash at Cape Town Stadium in the Vodacom United Rugby Championship on Saturday.
Yeah, no, for me, I'm expecting the Stormers to come out charging out of the doors. We know they're a good side. We know they want a fast start. They've got some good quality young players coming through, and obviously they've got some experience also. So yeah, as you said, I do have some good mates there. But what happens between the four lines, it's a different story. And what happens between the four lines usually stays on the four lines. And outside of rugby, I do have some good memories there. The Stormers still have some good mates, but I think the first task is going to be to go down to Cape Town to perform well and to make sure that we get a good result as a Sharks team.
In tennis, Novak Djokovic is in the third round of the Australian Open with straight sets win over Francesco Maestrelli. The 24-time Grand Slam champion claimed a 6-3, 6-2 and 6-2 win, marking his 399th major singles victory, leaving him one away from becoming the first ever player to reach 400. The 38-year-old is chasing an 11th Australian Open crown and a record 25th major title overall. He's in the third round with the likes of Yannick Sinner, who claimed a 6-1, 6-4 and 6-2 win over James Duckworth, and also Stan Wawrinka is also through to that third round after beating Arthur Gee 4-6, 6-3, 3-6, 7-5 and 7-6. In terms of Formula One champions McLaren will delay their first run at pre-season testing in Barcelona until day 2 or 3, allowing maximum development time for the 2026 car. The 5-day test at the circuit will be held behind closed doors, which with each team limited to 3 days on track. Team principal Andrea Stella described the redesign process as unprecedented, citing sweeping regulations, changes to engines, aerodynamics and tires. And McLaren's car has been a dyno in Austria before being shipped to Spain, while rivals including the likes of Audi, Alpine have already staged private shakedowns. And Stella says that the decision to wait reflects a balance between early reassurance and ultimate performance. And I really can't wait to see how McLaren are going to do in the F1 this season. I was rooting for Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari last time out in the last season. And I was disappointed. I was so disappointed. But anyway, let's see if we'll have a better car this time around.
Okay, wow. Yeah. Do not flop to me once again, please.
Yeah.
Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton.
That said, ke nna Tumeng Kgafela, Modimo ke yo.
For 90 years, one voice has informed, challenged, and connected a nation. SAFM, South Africa's national English public radio station. Established in 1936 as the SABC's very first service, the A program evolving through the English service, Radio South Africa, to SAFM in 1995, shaping thought and strengthening democracy. From a full-spectrum station to a trusted home of news and talk, SAFM continues to lead the conversations 90 years strong. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. The Morning Brief.
Let me start with a broad question. Your reaction to this incident
happening as it did, just at the entrance, the main entrance to the Poisons Magistrates Court?
Right now, as you can see, the whole situation in the country has been escalating on a security point, and this was actually inevitable. This has been happening and building up throughout the country. You'll appreciate that these incidents are not just happening at the entrance of the court, outside the court building. It's actually happening within the court system. The level of criminality and the sophistication with which they operate and the impunity with which they do this is actually very scary.
Nilan Karikan is the president of the Judicial Officers Association of South Africa.
Tulasizwe Simelane on the Morning Brief.
Economic news on SAFM. Facts and figures you can count on.
Right, the SAFM market update comes up at 6. So to set the scene on that one, we've got Jimmy Moya. Jimmy, I mean, interesting this one. The economics, I would think, right, of the Concord ruling on customary marriages.
Good afternoon, Ashraf. Good afternoon to the listeners. Yes, we know that we got that all-important Concord ruling yesterday that spoke to the customary marriages and antenuptial contracts and the relationships between those two. We're going to take a look at that in a bit more detail from a financial standpoint. We know that these decisions have financial implications on families, on relationships, on marriages, and we're going to take a look at that and just better understanding what this latest court ruling means, whether we're looking at couples coming together, whether we're looking at couples splitting up. We've previously covered this from a divorce perspective and taking a look at how to manage your finances in that situation. But yesterday's Concord ruling allows us to take a fresh perspective on when couples and individuals come together to potentially combine estates and build futures together. That will definitely have financial implications, and we're going to speak to financial advisor at Alex Forbes around that and how to navigate that in light of the Concord ruling that we heard yesterday. We're also going to have a conversation taking a look at frontier markets and whether or not they can weather the Trump storm. These are typically markets that are considered slightly smaller or pre-emerging market, and we're going to take a look at that. We're also going to take a look at the emerging market side of things if we can, and just how it is that we navigate the times that we find ourselves in as smaller markets that might not have the muscle that larger economies tend to have in these conversations. We're also going to wrap up our reflections on the World Economic Forum gathering. We're going to speak to the chair of Old Mutual, who's also the first Democratic Finance Minister of South Africa. That is the Honourable Trevor Manuel. We're going to get his thoughts around the delegation that travelled to Davos and what it is that they were able to achieve. We tried to have this conversation with the Minister of Finance yesterday. He was unfortunately caught up, and so we were not able to have that conversation. But we will definitely be having this conversation with Trevor Manuel and getting his thoughts around what it is that was discussed and how these discussions pertain to South Africa. We also have a conversation with the lead specialist at Liberty, Zandile Makoba, taking a look at educational planning. It's quite important, especially if you think about that many learners in South Africa as of this year have no place in schools. There aren't any options to get admitted into schools, and we're facing an educational crisis from an admissions point of view, but also from a financial planning point of view. People are starting to make different decisions around whether or not they want to study traditional degrees, whether or not they want to study electronically in South Africa, abroad. All of those permutations and options mean then that financial planning for education in particular is so important. So we're going to take a look at that and try and make sense of how to navigate that. And then because it's Thursday, we're going to spotlight a small business, as we always do on a Thursday. This week's small business is a cheese company based out of the Western Cape, exporting cheese into the rest of South Africa and into the rest of the world. They are one of the only dairy exporting companies on the sub-Sahara, or on the African continent, in fact. We're going to get a sense of how it is that they built that business. It's a family business that's been around since 1971. So that's what's coming up on the show today. Before we get to those conversations, a quick sense of markets throughout the day. It has been, by and large, quite a quiet day, but quite a positive day nonetheless. If we look at international equity markets, all of them were in the green today, recovering from some of the sentiment that would have been against them ahead of some of the conversations that took place in Switzerland this week. But markets closing out today in the green. European markets all in the green, more than 1%, almost more than 1.5%. The DAX 1.4, the CAC 14 from France 1.4%. The FTSE, the only market lagging behind 0.5% up there. The Nikkei up 1.7%, the biggest winner in Asian markets. The US markets at the moment are also in the green. The Nasdaq up about 0.5% and the S&P almost 0.33%. Local markets almost 0.2% in the case of the all share, above 120,000 points now at 121,500. The top 40 up more than 0.5%. Resources were down 1.3%, but industrials were up 1.2% and financial stocks were up 2.1%, and that's why we still finished out in the green. Even though resources were down about 1.3%, platinum pricing still above $2,500 an ounce, up on the day. Silver pricing still above $95 now an ounce. The gold price $4,862 a fine ounce, almost at $4,900, and the palladium pricing rather back above $1,906. I expect that these continued positive movements on the commodity side will show signs of a recovery in the resources sector tomorrow potentially, or throughout the rest of the week. If we look at the currency side of things before we go, the rand against the dollar, 16 rand and 19 cents, 16.20 on some platforms, 21 rand 82 against the British pound, €1 just below 19 rand, 18 rand 99, $1 Australian dollar 11 rand and 4 cents. Not too concerned about that, it has dipped below that 11 rand level. A Bitcoin 88,700, or in rand terms 1.43 million rand, still below 1.5 million rand with that stronger rand, and looking to stay around that range for now. We'll be back just after the 6 p.m. news with market movements and looking deeper into some of these movements. I'm looking forward to having a chat with a good friend of ours, Simon Brown, on these movements and trying to make sense of where it is that markets might be looking to go from here. But that conversation after the 6 p.m. news. For now, Ashraf, back to you.
Right, perfect. SFM Market Update, 6 to 7. Thanks for that, Jimmy Moyaha. Sport follows after that, 7 to 8. So lots to look forward to here on, not just on the National Pulse, on SAFM, but it is the National Pulse, and we now will talk about that planned, protest coming up tomorrow.
The National Pulse, weekdays, 3 to 6 p.m.
Hopefully we're going to try and chat to Patricia Dillard just before we end the show, so just keep your fingers crossed for that, right? So we heard the story from the SABC News reporter Sasha Naidu about over 60 vehicles being impounded in Indonesia for a variety of reasons, from not having the correct permit to be able to transport learners to school, to cars or vehicles that in fact were unroadworthy, and then overcrowding and a few other things as well. We also hear that there's been a response certainly from the Greater Johannesburg Learner Transport Organization. Now, the plan is to chat to Bongani Ndlovu now. Unfortunately, his phone's switched off, so as soon as he switches on, we'll be okay. But in the meantime, all we know is this, right? That they are planning, 31 member associations, we are protesting against the impoundment action of our scholar transport vehicles by the government law enforcement agencies at Lenasia today, and were taken to Benoni Impound Centre, where they will be released through a 5,000 rand fine, stating that our members do not have operating licenses. Permits which are stuck, that's what it says, STUCKED, in the government offices. We therefore call on all scholar transport operators in Johannesburg to observe tomorrow, Friday the 23rd January, as a day of protest against today's action by the law enforcement. We apologize for any inconvenience caused. So they were in a meeting. We probably can't connect with them now, but that's been the call, that they want to protest, and whether that protest means protest or stay away protest, as in no transport, how does that affect all the learners crisscrossing, suburbs and townships of the city of Johannesburg tomorrow. Right, let's get to some of the voice notes from you in the meantime.
Ashraf, this is Stanley from Guguleto. I don't mind being controversial with this one. The reason why a lot of people don't go according to the book, including this scholar transport, is that the bureaucracy in signing up is so cumbersome. It is made so impossible for people to get on board that people go without any of these registrations anyway, because they cannot get them. I mean, I was talking to my daughter who deals a lot with refugees and so forth. She says the reason why a lot of people are undocumented is because the documentation process is made impossible and lengthy for these people, and therefore people just choose to go the other way. And so I'm not making excuses for anything, but I'm basically saying that people find a way if they are blocked because they've got to survive. They've got to have an income. Thanks.
Okay, there we are. Give them. They have to make a plan. They have to survive. That's what is said. There's more. I wonder if you agree with that. Here's another.
Ashraf, if you think about it nicely, that's why the scholar transport are not getting permits, because the taxi owners are putting a block. They want people to put their children in a taxi and go to school. Because from the age of 3 in a taxi, you pay your full fare. The taxi owners got the government where they want them. So there's no way they're going to get permits. Those permits will only come when Jesus comes home. There's nothing for them, bro. Nothing for no scholar transport permits. Where I'm staying, the people paid the association in Wentworth and got nothing out of it. They only got a lousy sticker. A lousy sticker.
Okay, I wonder what that lousy sticker looks like. But okay, so you're saying the taxi guys run the show. So you say Wentworth in the Durban region, right? Now, in fact, we do have now Bongani Ndlovu on the line, Public Relations Officer for the Greater Johannesburg Learner Transport Association. Bongani, I appreciate your time. I know you've been in a meeting earlier on today. There's been a plan now. We've covered the story already of 66 vehicles, student vehicles being impounded. There's a plan tomorrow to protest. Tell me more about that.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and all the listeners. Yeah, regarding the protest, in fact, it came out of frustration that happened because of most of our members. What we have told them, it was more on the awareness that was being run by the MEC, whereby transporters, they need to know and understand more about what is it that is required of them in terms of their roadworthiness, and in terms of how to behave and what is it that is expected by the law enforcement and all that. So in terms of the vehicles being impounded, like really, it ended up making members not even to trust that whatever that we are telling them, like it's true, because of now we are telling them the other thing and the opposite is happening. So it ended up making them being frustrated to end up making a collective decision as to now they need to stay away from schools because of they are afraid that if they should go to schools, then their cars might be impounded again and they are being expected to pay. Some of them are being expected to pay as far as 2 to 3.5.
So is that going to hold tomorrow? They will not go to schools tomorrow?
Yeah, we were still engaging with them as a region because of it's not something that is happening provincially. Hence, I'm just explaining out that it's a regional frustration. So we are in support of the frustration. We are trying to talk with them as to they must go to school and try by all means that if we have our frustrations, we have ways to at least put them forward. So the unfortunate part is that the MEC, on the other hand, and her team, they are doing something which was never of discussion. Hence, I was just explaining that what we are telling the regions, it's the opposite of what is transpiring now. So we do understand the roadworthiness of vehicles and all that, but in terms of permits, because most of the vehicles which have been impounded today, we had the report that they were based on the permits which they did not have, but some of them had OLAs. So like it's a confusion on what's happening.
Okay.
So we are trying to talk with the region not to stay away from school because that will inconvenience parents and even kids.
Absolutely. Okay, so in fact, you're saying, your organization saying don't stay away, but you're saying that as it stands, there is a stay away. So who's called for the stay away? And as it stands, if they don't listen to you, how many of these vehicles are expected to be staying away tomorrow?
There's no way that they cannot be listening to us because of we are a structure that is representing all regions. As we are saying that the decision was taken by the collective that was frustrated based on what transpired there. So some of us are saying we are going to school and some of us are saying we're not going to school. So it is based on the actions that are being done or the team or the law enforcement, but we will push to try and talk them out in terms of saying they do need to go to school because of we don't want to inconvenience learners.
All right, got that. Let's talk about this hotly debated subject today about no permits. Many of the cars, these student vehicles, have no permits, and others are suggesting that they have no permits because there's a complete logjam at the relevant authority. So what is the actual story?
The actual story, it states far back as 2019 or 2021, whereby if you can even try to talk with the Department of Roads and Transport, you'll realize that there's been a backlog. So that backlog, it's not only in the scholar transport, it is all in the industry, whereby you find that now many of us are having OLAs. So the reason for us not to have permits is that on some of the requirements, you find that some of the associations are not registered, and it ends up having like one of the requirements for the permits to be given. It needs to have a letter from schools or a letter from associations. So we've been engaging with the department in terms of trying to fix all these things that are happening in the industry, whereby we find that it ends up as it like we are no longer part of having to comply with the department or with the government. So the backlog is on the government.
So,
and now,
so what would you say? How many cars like these scholar cars transport? How many as a percentage have got permits? How many as a percentage does not have permits?
As a percentage, I cannot really state because of those stats are with the government, and even if they give us the Department of Roads and Transport, as I've just stated that we are engaging with them, it's like you cannot have a statistic exactly as to how many they are. But once the registration of association is being fast forwarded, it will make things easier because of when it comes to transporting kids, it's just that we all have a notion or a thought that if you see kids in a car, then it means it's a scholar transport. So we've got members and non-members, and we've got transport education and private. It's public transport, and we also have
all right. But you said earlier on that in fact they needed to get their documentation from the school because they fall under a different body. So that means is the delay from the school side or from the Department of Transport?
No, I'm not saying it's a delay from the transport side or from the school side. It's just that they go hand in hand. So there is a delay somehow from the schools, whereby you find that even if some of the scholar transporters, if they go and request for letters, you would find the education department saying, no, we haven't been instructed to give out letters, but others are giving out. So it's something that was touched base on one of our meetings, whereby it was that they will discuss with the principals so that they are aware of the processes that are supposed to be taking place.
I understand that part. Now, you're saying you have no idea what the percentage, you can't even guess, like more or less? Is it like 40%, 60%, 20%? What do you think?
That one I cannot guess. As I've just stated, that we've got transporters in different ways. We've got transporters that are belonging to associations, and we've got those that are not belonging to associations.
Okay, I hear that. So today, in the conversations with the MEC for Transport and the Minister of Transport, when they found that there were these vehicles impounded because they had no permits, did representation get made to them today to say this is the reason why, and what was their response to?
What happened today is that we received a call from one of the officials, whereby I will not state the name in the portfolio, but we did receive a call from one of the officials that is like liaising with the MEC, where that gentleman wanted us to really engage with them so that we can assist each other in terms of having to take kids back home. So we did that, but in all honesty, it makes us to end up seem as if like we are sellouts because of we cannot say we don't know this thing, but on the other hand, participating. But the government did try to make sure that the kids are getting home.
Okay.
So we even assisted in that.
So just for clarity on this one here, before we conclude, do you think it's okay for these scholar transport vehicles to be able to drive on the roads without a permit? I understand why there's no permit, but do you think it's okay?
Okay. It's not that it's okay or it's not okay. It is a regulation or it is something of law that one needs to have one. But the most important thing is the public, whereby you find a driver needs to have a public. So in order for one to say, is it okay or not, I would think like it would be okay if we can maybe focus mostly on the drivers if they've got licenses and public driving licenses rather than us focusing on the payment because of the backlog.
Okay.
As I've stated, it's from the government.
Thank you for that. Now, just the last thing. I understand there were cars, there were vehicles that were overcrowded. That means far more learners than should have been in those cars, and sometimes like 10, 15 more. And on the other hand, there were also examples of cars that were unroadworthy, and there were also drivers that were unlicensed. Now, what's your position on that? I mean, you don't need a permit to not overload cars. What's the position on that, and to have unroadworthy cars?
Okay, you see, even that one is tricky. Why I'm saying it's tricky, when you compare the overload of scholar transport and the overload of a normal load, it's not the same. You understand? There's an act, it's just that I forgot about it, but I can quickly browse on my phone to check on which act.
Well, we got 20 seconds, so very quickly. Okay, it's fine. Just give us the essence of it, yeah.
There's a document stating on how many kids per ratio, as in like how many, the number of kids, it's like between 0 and 7 years. Those kids, 2 of them, they are making 1 adult, and then 3 of them, they are making 1 adult, and then between 7 and 13, 2 of them, they are making 1 adult as well. So you cannot really determine, and it's something that we have put across even to the MEC or the government to say we really need to fix on this, to deal on this ratio thing.
All right. I think that story is going to run tomorrow, and I really mean that. Thank you for your time, Bongani Ndlovu, the Public Relations Officer for the Greater Johannesburg Learner Transport Association. In fact, he's saying from that association umbrella body, their recommendation to the drivers who are wanting to protest is not to protest. In fact, although they are very disgruntled and unhappy with what has happened today regarding the impounding of the vehicles in Lenasia. So there we are. That's the National Pulse. Certainly gets you thinking, because that's the real lived experience of people needing to get their children to school tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Okay, we'll do it again tomorrow. Do get the podcast. We have some of the key interviews all up, safm.co.za. Right now, it's 6 o'clock, the news with Greg.
Thank you again, Ashraf. Another teacher confirmed dead in school shooting in South Korea enacts new AI law. Good evening. The Eastern Cape Department of Education says another teacher's been confirmed